interesting happened yesterday on X, and I'm very glad that it didn't affect my show too much. That's why I like to do my show prep, my pre-prep. A lot of videos I do play are on X. X is a very popular platform. And some things went down yesterday. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. Tic-tac-toe, 3 in a row. Barney got shot by a G.I. Joe. But no, 4 times where X was hit and hit hard. And it looks like it was done and tracked, and the IP address had come from a place that none of you ever heard of. And when I mention it, you're going to be like, what, Kit? You're crazy. A place called Ukraine. This is from Elon Musk's own words himself. So let's go ahead and pull this up here, because the fact that X was down not once, not twice, not 3 times or 4 times, one has to wonder, why was that? What was the cause of it? And anything else here too, I want to ask you, my viewing audience, do you think that X going down was by its own internal management? It was just a failure of tech. Type 1, if that's the case. Type 2, no, it probably came from an outside hostile element. 1 or 2. You make the decision. Type your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's get that engagement going on. Let's get that talking. So let's go ahead and pull up this video here.
Another thing, everyone's attacking you for your position. What are you doing in the government? There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut it down and may have been foreign sourced. Yes. It's a big story. You want to give us a moment on that?
Well, we're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
Oh, well, so that's your suspicion. Is the website, is the internet up? Is it up yet?
It's up, yeah.
It's up yet. Okay, good. But I just was looking back. Let me just see.
All right, so what's going on here? So as it stands, this is a tweet from Elon Musk. There was still, this was from yesterday, a massive cyber attack against X. We get attacked every day, but this was done with a lot of resources. Either a large coordinated group and or a country is involved. Tracing. And now first protests against Doge, then Tesla stores were attacked. Now X is down. I wouldn't rule out the possibility this downtime is a result of an attack on X as it stands. But this is also that came out today as well. X, Twitter, continues to experience functional issues for many users 24 hours after the first of many outages that occurred yesterday. And this has been shared over social media. Here's what was written yesterday for everybody to see and hear as well. The social media site X, formerly known as Twitter, had a very rough Monday yesterday. Yeah, it was kind of weird, with users reporting multiple outages throughout the day, and Elon Musk later claiming that they were down to a massive cyber attack. The first spike in reported problems on Down Detector happened at 10 a.m. Eastern on Monday, March 10th, with X users both in the United States and United Kingdom unable to get their usual fix of memes and outrage in the app or website. Yeah, now the app was working fine on my laptop, though, and on my computer as well. Not so much. While the first outage was quickly resolved, X went down a further 3 times, with the longest one approaching at an earlier peak at 2 p.m. Eastern. So to quote X's own tagline, what's happening? Elon Musk has now commented and claimed that there was still a massive cyber attack against X, which was done with a lot of resources. So here's what happened. This is a comment from Elon Musk. Tech tycoon Elon Musk has said that his social media platform X came under a massive cyber attack, with Down Detector receiving outage reports from more than 60,000 users throughout Monday. In a post on his personal account, he wrote that we get attacked every day, but this was done with a lot of resources, surmising that either a large coordinated group and or country is involved. We're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to bring down the X system, with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area. Well, if they have a VPN, I don't know. I mean, there is ways around that, but very suspicious due to the fact that both Trump and Zelensky had a little bit of a back and forth, and Elon has also been very dismissive towards Zelensky as well. Musk also replied in the affirmative to a suggestion by an X user that they want to silence you and this platform. Down Detector, a website that monitors outages of online services, claimed that there were at least 2 waves of reports concerning X throughout Monday, with more than 60,000 users in total flagging issues. Some X users reportedly saw error messages from Cloudflare, a content delivery network and cybersecurity provider, that read, "Web servers returning an unknown error," and when they tried to access the site. A previous massive outage affecting X happened last August. In a post on X earlier in the day, Musk accused ActBlue, a major Democrat fundraising platform funded by such figures such as billionaire George Soros, of staging a coordinated attack on his car company, Tesla. An investigation has found 5 ActBlue-funded groups responsible for Tesla protests: Troublemakers, Disruption Project, Arise and Resist, Indivisible Project, and Democratic Socialists of America, DSA, the tech entrepreneur wrote. He claimed his claim followed a slew of protests targeting electric car dealerships in over 50 locations across the U.S. over the past few weeks. While most incidents were limited to demonstrators demanding that Musk go, several dealers suffered property damage. The latest case occurred overnight in Seattle, where several Cybertrucks were torched. A similar attack took place on Saturday in Loveland, Colorado. Last month, that same business was targeted by an arsonist who spray painted, the Third Reich cars on the vehicles and hurled Molotov cocktails at them. Police later detained a transgender suspect, Lucy Grace Nelson, who was booked on a $100,000 cash bond and released the following day, much to the cringe of local law enforcement. Although critical of Democrats for several years now, Musk completed what some call a swing to the right when he endorsed Donald Trump for president after the failed assassination attempt of the then candidate last July. The tech billionaire has since become one of Trump's closest confidants, leading to the new Department of Government Efficiency. So Elon Musk has said in the past, especially with his recent drama with his baby mama, Ashley Sinclair, that him and in turn Trump were on a high target list to be removed. But this concern on X and this attack on X has given me much pause on how over-reliant we are on social media and many of these platforms. And X, whether we like it or not, I know some of you in my audience have actually the more courage of not swimming in the cesspool that is Twitter, which I have to give a full salute. Sometimes, but hey, I'm addicted to it. I think Twitter is a very interesting concept into the human mind. But it says a lot on how this coordinated attack happened. And if there is some further investigation into whether these were Ukrainian IP addresses and these are legit, it puts Zelensky and his administration in the crosshairs of Trump, because Zelensky apparently wrote a letter to Donald Trump apologizing for his behavior. But there's also other things that caused Musk to get the ire from many Ukrainians. When the early stages of the war happened, Starlink was being used by Ukraine. Since then, the Uno reverse card has been dropped, and Elon Musk has removed Starlink, more or less. And now there's talk of these peace talks continuing on. Recently, there was a drone attack in Moscow, which once again should tell all of us that we want this war to end, because who knows if this escalates even further. But I do have a worry and a fear. In this day and age where emotions are extremely hypercharged, I could see the crackdown on free speech happening. Now, if this is truly an outside element going after X, I don't like it, because many of us make a livelihood on social media. Many of us earn a living on social media. Hell, this is how a lot of us do communicate. Whether we like it or not, the internet is part of our lives now. And we are living in a Black Mirror episode where every day is going to be an episode. But I'm worried about the future of free speech, because now we're seeing a lot of these protests and crackdowns on protests. And while this has nothing to do with the shutdown of X, this does have everything to do with Elon Musk being protested and what this means for the future of free speech on X, on YouTube, on Rumble, on Instagram, Facebook, all of it.
This was another weekend in which we saw people protesting all over the country at Elon Musk's car company, at Tesla.
Now, of course, it doesn't help that Rachel Maddow from BSDNC is giving commentary on this, but they're going to have their spin on it. But remember, all corporate media, all of DC, they're pro-censorship.
Dealerships everywhere. Protests this weekend at the Tesla dealership in Pasadena, California, which is Southern California, also Palo Alto up in Northern California, in Decatur, Georgia. in Vancouver, Washington, in Boston at the big Tesla dealership there, in Chicago at the Tesla dealership on the
Chicagoans, you think protesting in front of a Tesla dealership is going to change anything? You think it's going to do anything? It's just like protesting in front of Trump Tower. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to. I'm going to go crazy. You know what? After this segment, I'm going to have Kit Goes Crazy.
Gold Coast there in Manhattan at the Tesla dealership. There was another big protest this weekend at which people did civil disobedience and got arrested. I think this is the second, if not the third time that people have actually done civil disobedience and had to be dragged out of that Tesla showroom in New York City. This was a big weekend of protests. Women's Day this weekend brought out a lot of anti-Trump, anti-Elon Musk protesters, plus people standing up for abortion rights and for immigrants' rights. We saw big women's marches this weekend in Atlanta and in places as far-flung as Lexington, Kentucky, and Pittsburgh, Kansas, and Indianapolis. In New York City, there was a big march. In Los Angeles, they had a really big women's march. There were protests and big marches in Boston and in Sacramento and in Portland, Oregon, and at the state capitol in St. Paul, Minnesota. People demonstrated peacefully in Cincinnati this weekend.
Yes, Rachel, everyone's protesting. I can't handle her voice anymore. I'm sorry. I can't only handle it so much. But what is the purpose of this? Well, with what happened on X, if it's truly legit, if this is something that is that this is an outside element, IP addresses going from Ukraine, because if they're able to trace it, and let's face it, Elon Musk does have he's one of the richest men on the planet, so obviously he has a team that could track this stuff down, and not to mention he can text or phone call Donald Trump and get the government resources on it too. If it goes in there, that's calls into question overall what this means for the peace deal in Ukraine, but also with these massive protests and Elon Musk being a front and center person, I am concerned about what can be said, what can be talked about, what can be shared on social media. I think there's a lot of protesters out there that are protesting for a lot of the wrong reasons. Yes, there's a reason to be critical of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Absolutely. Protesting in front of buildings that have their names on it, like that's not going to do it. We got to be smart. We got to strategize. If we want to implement change, that means adapting and making new different forms of strategies, such as, I don't know, building really strong coalitions and working at the state and local level, because that's where a lot of things can happen in order to implement real change to shake the foundations of the swamp pool that's in Washington, D.C. We live in very uncertain times, and let's say this attack continues on, or let's say there's another attack down the road. Well, who's to say that any other social media platform won't be attacked, like Google or YouTube? And once they're attacked, what kind of laws will be put into place? Don't say anything. It's 1984. It's Brave New World. It's Fahrenheit 451. It's Fallout. It's Idiocracy. All mutated and put into one, just like how Brundlefly was fused together. It's a nightmare.